This show is not intended to provide the listener with specific medical advice, and you should seek the advice of a medical professional.
This program is brought to you by Zenus, leading the Optimum Wellness movement in body and spirit with nature.
My whole purpose is to get people off of their drugs and get them to live a healthy life.
It's such a miracle. I mean, this is dollar for dollar best stuff I've ever had in my office.
Hey people, welcome to the Zenus Health Show on KXNT News Talk Radio 840 Las Vegas. My name is Anthony, and joining me once again is Doug Whitfield, educator and author of Life for Grave Danger. He is also the president and CEO of Zenus Global Health. Remember, the consultation is always free. We're backed by Nature's Pharmacy, and your journey to wellness can be all yours. It just begins with your mindset. You can also give us a call today, 702-733-5968. You just get in touch with us on the Host Resistance Hotline. Once again, that number is 702-733-5968. Mr. Doug Whitfield, it is wonderful to be back with you on another Sunday morning. Remember, my New Year's resolution is not to talk about the weather, but I see lovely balloons out back.
Well, I didn't make that type of a resolution. I had another glorious day here in Las Vegas, Nevada. A beautiful day out there.
Well, as we established, we're not in Winnipeg, right?
We call it Winterpeg.
Manitoba? I love you Canadians, I really do. Look, we are in that season of flus and colds and what have you. You and I have talked about flu and the flu vaccine and what is actually a flu, and we know it's a viral infection. It can be very deadly in the right high-risk circumstances. We know that. Questions that I got during the week. I now remember the flu being this bad. You know, should I have gotten my flu shot?
Yeah.
And I kind of look at people with a quizzical look because, you know, you see some of the data on people who may be getting the flu, but also having flu shots. Doesn't leave you warm and fuzzy, my friend.
Well, you know, here's an interesting thing is, and one of the chapters in my book is called Coughs, Colds, Fevers, and Flus, because these are not your normal diseases, because sometimes it's simply the body doing a cleanup, like a spring cleaning, where you're expelling dead cells and different toxins out of your system. So the coughing is simply the lungs eliminating carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, different poisons and that. Fevers are caused your thyroid burning off poisons. Perspiration or sweating is your skin eliminating poisons through the skin, because the skin is just another organ, it's the largest organ in the body. So oftentimes these are not necessarily a bad thing, but when you get a real significant flu, that's a little different again. You know, something that's real significant if you're running excessively high temperatures and that. And of course, there's people dying from it.
I find some of this really interesting, Doug, to the extent that, look, you have people in high-risk groups that are going to find it very difficult to overcome the flu. Then you have the people that I would consider in pretty good health, right? You know, not necessarily well, but in pretty good health. And we do make that distinction, of course, as, you know, maybe you're just living above that line, you know, where you're just healthy enough, but you're not well, right?
Yeah.
And then that little thing can knock you over the edge.
Yeah.
I was one of those people.
Yeah.
I would have been already knocked over the edge, and I would have already got it. But like I said, if you remove the poisons and toxins, right, this is my argument that I say to people, hey, don't take my word for it. This is what works for me. Go talk to your doctor if you need more assistance here. I'm not an expert, but what I can tell you is my experience.
Well, you never want to be an expert, Anthony, because an X is a has-been, a spurt is a drip under pressure. So, right. You know, but you want to become knowledgeable, because it's only having access to good information can you make good choices.
Right. So I think I've got access to some pretty good information, and I recognize that removing the poisons and toxins out of my system improves my immune system, and then I'm going to revitalize it with the right set of nutrients and constituents, and I'm going to build up what we call host resistance. My question to you, point blank, is, would you get the flu shot or would you get the host resistance?
You know, again, we got Louis Pasteur to thank for the germ theory, because
right.
He came up saying that it was germs and bacteria and viruses and pathogens that were the root cause of disease. And this fed right into the story that the pharmaceutical companies wanted you to hear, because then they just had to develop different antibiotics, different drugs, and that to deal with it. And guess what? They had a license to print money. the truth is that there was an equally astute biologist called Antoine Beauchamp. He was a French professor biologist back at the same time, and he had a theory called pleomorphism, and it was totally contrary to Louis Pasteur, and he said that it's always the terrain is what's important. In other words, the body itself. So he promoted the concept of host resistance because in his theory, pathogens, viruses, germs were never the primary cause ever of any disease. They were simply secondary at best because these are all living entities or organisms that are constantly in quest of a host that will provide them with a food source. And their food source happens to be toxins, poisons, accumulated waste. So the logic there simply is if you eliminate and void yourself of all these excessive toxins and accumulated waste, you no longer attract these viruses, infectious viruses and pathogens into your system. So the best defense is a good offense in this case. So you simply make sure that you're voiding yourself of poisons. So you're eliminating more poisons than what you're taking in.
Well, I'm looking at this fabulous article online, Why the Only Thing Influenza May Kill is Germ Theory. You know, you grew up thinking this whole germ theory made all the sense in the world, but as you dig deeper and deeper and deeper, there's a different and I guess deeper understanding about what wellness really is. And this is what I think we get down to when we're talking about host resistance. We're talking at a much more basic, fundamental level, are we not?
You know what? It's really as simple as this. If you've got a real strong belief in a spiritual belief, a religious belief, you have to believe that we were built in our Creator's image. He created us in His image, and He gave us everything in nature to support these bodies that He gave us in joy, vitality, energy, wellness, all these things. But they come in our fruits, our vegetables, our herbs, because nature has a way of synergistically blending everything that the body needs, so it's recognized as food at a cellular level. So it's Hippocrates said, let food be your medicine, let medicine be your food. Instead, what do? We turn and start to kneel at the altars of science and looking at all of these pharmaceutical drugs that simply are not in harmony with our body's needs. Every single prescription drug, without exception, comes with side effects. The side effects are simply the body's intelligence telling us and warning us that that's not in harmony with its needs.
You know, maybe an indicator of something greater. Maybe this is just an incident. Again, I'm not an expert when it comes to the flu or the flu shot, but, you know, there was a wonderful article I read this week. 8 die of this flu in 2 weeks in just one area of Santa Barbara, and 7 of these people had their flu shot. And as you dig back in the layers of this, maybe within a bit of the science here. And maybe, again, this is just an outlier. I don't know, but I keep hearing about stories across the country like this where, like, even the CDC is questioning that, look, 70-ish% effective this year, the flu shot. That's what they're claiming. But what you come to find out, Doug, is there are doctors out there who are talking about the fact that the flu shot that we get this year may help with this year, but what about the other flu shots? Are we altering our chemistry to such a point that we're weakening ourselves as we go further down the pipe with vaccine upon vaccine upon vaccine upon flu shot upon flu shot? You've got medical doctors out there questioning that very premise.
Well, you know what? It's just a race. Science is in a race to see if they can come up with new antibiotics faster than the strains of germs and that. As a living organism, they morph, they evolve. Right. And so once you start poisoning them, they start to build up immunity against that poison, those drugs that you're taking. And so they change so that they're no longer affected by them. So we've got to create something new. So it's just a matter of we feeding more and more poisons into our system to get rid of the viruses and the pathogens. In effect, what we're doing is we're really compromising the integrity of the immune system that our Creator gave us.
If you're looking to improve that immune system, if you're looking just simply to remove the poisons and toxins, and maybe you just want to get a sample, got an offer for you folks right now. Go to thezenusstore.com/offer. Set up yourself on a test of Optimum D-Tox for only $5. You're going to just pay for the shipping. We're going to give you the product, and then we're going to put you on a program. If you don't like what you're feeling, if you don't think it's helping you, you can cancel it any time. It is a trial. Folks, you need to get to the poisons and toxins. If you want your flu shots and you think that's the way to go, hey, that's okay. But what we're saying is get to the root cause. Get down to those poisons and toxins and help yourself now. Doug, every time I talk to people in the community about removing poisons and toxins, they are all ears. I think people are finally recognizing, and I'm talking even young people, that the poisons and the toxins, that is the source in our food chain, in our air, in the water we drink.
We've been around for a lot of years. This is the 50th year I've been in nutrition. Mm-hmm. We've been in the natural whole food supplement industry now for about 30 years. And I defy anybody to find anything negative about any of the products. Our products come directly from nature's pharmacy. Nothing's been compromised in the extraction process. So everything is synergistically blended by nature. So we're getting the right enzymes, coenzymes, minerals, trace minerals, vitamins, all in a molecular form that are recognized as food at a cellular level. So it's 100% bioavailable so that the cells can manufacture enzymes in order to restore balance in the system.
Folks, we have a very special guest here to join us today. His name is Jim Ferguson. He will join us after the break. If you want to get involved in this conversation about the flu, about toxins and poisons and how we remove them, if you're a baby boomer, you're going to want to listen to most of this show today for sure. We're going to talk specifically about baby boomers today because this is a very, very important group who will not live as long as their predecessors, right? We've already covered some of the dynamics, the data around that, and the statistical and actuarial science that is showing for the first time since the 1960s that one generation won't live as long in this country as the one that preceded it.
Well, right. Well, the other thing is that we've discovered ways of keeping people alive a little longer, but their quality of life.
Right.
And that's all that drugs can do. They can prolong, but with a very poor quality of life. We want people to have more life in their years and more years in their life.
That's what this is all about, folks. Listen, you can certainly go to your doctor and get your checkups and do all the right things, but what do you do in between the checkups? How do you prevent yourself from being the next statistic of chronic disease? As we say, you could be one of those people. You can be a survivor of chronic disease, or you could lower the odds and never be one in the first place. And quite frankly, I don't ever want to be a survivor of chronic disease, my friend.
Well, you have to understand, your health is an investment. It's not an expense. However, if you're not willing to make the investment, it will become an expense.
Without a doubt. And with that, we are going to take our first break. And at the other side of this break, Jim Ferguson will join us from Southern California. He's got a lot to say about Zenus and his health and what he recommends to his circle of friends. Come right back. You're listening to the Zenus Health Show here on News Talk Radio, 840 AM, KXNT. This is the Zenus Health Show.
We're constantly under siege by poisons and toxins in our food, in the water we drink, and even in the air that we breathe. Our liver, kidney, skin, and lungs were just not designed to handle this level of contamination. Hi, my name is Doug Whitfield, President and CEO of Zenus Global Health. When I wrote my last book, Life or Grave Danger, I could never have imagined the impact that it would have, not just on people seeking advice on wellness, but how it was received by health professionals all across the spectrum. The cause of all chronic disease and premature aging is directly linked to poisons and toxins. Stress, nutrition, lifestyle choices, and our mindsets are key factors, but we cannot achieve the quality of life we deserve without first having the right information at our fingertips. And this is why I wrote Life or Grave Danger, to shine a light on the biggest questions of our time.
Get the book that is destined to be a classic. Order Life or Grave Danger directly from Zenus, 702-540-5668. Stop chronic disease before it starts. Call now.
Get your information while it's happening. We're the only station saying what you're thinking. This is News Talk 840 KXNT.
Hey, folks, welcome back. You're listening to the Zenus Health Show here on KXNT News Talk Radio 840 Las Vegas. I'm here with Doug Whitfield, and if you want to get involved with the show today, you can join us at 702-733-5968. That is the Host Resistance Hotline, and that today is where we find our special guest, Mr. Ferguson. Great to have you on the air. How are you, my friend?
Hey, Anthony. How you doing? Doug, you there?
I am. Good morning.
Good morning to you guys.
This is certainly a motley crew on a Sunday morning, is it not?
That's right. Thank God this isn't TV.
Yes, it certainly is. I look nothing like Ron Burgundy. I don't look that good. But hey, we're talking about the flu this winter, and we've seen a flu quite this bad in some time, and it seems year upon year, Jim, we have people taking flu shots, and we have baby boomers who are facing many big important decisions about their health and indeed their wellness. And you've done some fabulous work educating people that, look, poisons and toxins, folks. Yeah, you want your flu shot? Go ahead and get it. But if we don't get at the root cause, we're in a bit of trouble.
No, exactly. In the last 2 years since I've been on the products, I've had a cold for a period of 5 days. And, I was at a New Year's Eve party, and there was like 6 or 7 of us. 2 days later, I hear 5 of the 7, my wife and I are being the exceptions, who are on the products, are healthy as can be. Yeah, I just have to, tell people that, unless you be proactive, hey, face the consequences. So far, so good.
Jim, maybe you can kind of share some of the things that you've personally experienced, because it's always fascinating to me. Even though I've heard these stories thousands of times over the years, I'm always appreciative of just listening to some of the benefits that people do receive. And I know that you've got a pretty interesting story.
I've been in the financial service world for 40 years, setting up retirement plans for people with always the intent that, through your work days, there'll be this day that, you'll have this freedom and money and be able to live the remaining years hopefully in good health. But the reality is that people get to that age and all of a sudden the hard work may have paid off, but the health was sacrificed. And so I was always leery of being that guy that winds up, because I had friends all around me that were getting sick, and I'm in my, early 60s, and thinking that, boy, if I don't take, the offensive, and in my mentality in the financial service world was, you can't buy the insurance when the house was on fire. And so, I went to a meeting, just probably 2 years ago this week, Doug, I think it was, and I sat there and listened to you speak, and I said, my God, this guy is speaking exactly to me. I'm that next guy. I'm that guy that's going to, I had 5 friends that were in various stages of battling, cancer. And I said, I'm not going to be the guy. I want to be the guy that didn't get cancer versus being the guy that was the cancer survivor. So at that juncture, I was, an avid golfer, and I was seriously considering giving up golf because my hands hurt so bad through arthritis. I mean, it hurt every swing. And so, Doug was very explicit in his talk and talked about the benefits. And I said, why wouldn't I try this? I mean, I just believe people have to invest in their own health versus running off to the doctor. And I'm not advocating that we don't use doctors, please. But, we need to, be the person responsible for our own, well-being. And I thought this was such a minimal cost, minimal, time to prepare it. And, about 30 days into it, and I'm one of these guys that says, if I'm going to do it, and if I invest my money, I will be that person that uses that product every day for that design period. And about 30 days into it, I'm starting to say, wow. And I was not an unhealthy person when I started this, except for the arthritis. And I was kind of buying the idea that, well, this is just the way it is. You can, learn to live with it, or you start giving up things that were important to you. So here I am 2 years later. I said, I've literally had one cold for 5 days in 2 years. And I just have this overall better feel of health. I used to wear these neoprene knee braces when I walked because of the arthritis pain. I haven't worn them in 2 years. And, I just, my digestion is good. My sleep, it's good. Just overall wellness. When I get out where I usually walk, I walk faster and at a brisker pace now than I had in the last 25 years. So I'm a big, endorser of, the Optimum D-Tox. I'm on powder now. So I'm a believer.
You're saying a lot of similar things that I feel and the things that I'm experiencing, Jim, because, you talk to people about supplements, and the first thing they do is they get a little bit skeptical. I mean, maybe you get off the reservation, and everybody kind of reveals where they're at in their own health regimen. But when they find out that after the cold and flu season, you're the only two, meaning you and your significant other and your circle of friends who aren't getting sick, they kind of look at you strange, don't they? And they say, maybe there is something to this. And one of the things that you're doing out there is really socializing amongst baby boomers. I know you're talking to people amongst that specific age group who are, quite frankly, under risk right now of not living as long as the previous generation. And that is a very disturbing trend. And I think that is reflected in the fact that we live in a world in which our bodies were not designed to live, meaning we are surrounded by high levels of poison and toxins that need to be addressed.
Oh, so true, Anthony. I mean, the goal is not to live to 150. Being within a financial service background, which, includes insurance products, the life expectancy is about 78, 79 for males and about 82, 83 for females. Mm-hmm. But the goal is not to, on your 83rd birthday, drop over. The goal is to live all through those years. I'm amazed. I have friends in their 90s that are, for whatever genetic reasons, are as wonderful as they've ever been. I mean, slow down, obviously. But I was a caretaker for my father-in-law for 7 years. He lived with us, diabetic. Quite honestly, he didn't have the money to the $6,000-$7,000 a month it was going to take to put him into some type of, care for him. Mm-hmm. And so I, fortunately through, the businesses that I was in and the ability to utilize, technology, I, cared for him. I had a phone in my ear. I had him around my arm around his shoulder. We walked in his little room and did little circles, knowing that as long as I kept him moving, we had a chance to keep him at home because I could care for him. Once we couldn't, then we would have to go to the next step. And that meant, selling assets. That was a big financial detriment. I had 3 kids in college, so it really told me and just drove the lesson home is you have to try to do everything you can to stay upright and stay moving. I do not have a big golden parachute pension plan out there for me. Right. I have to work. Right. I enjoy working. I love to golf, but I don't want to golf more than 1 or 2 days a week. I don't need to be at the golf course 3-4 days. I want to do the things. I want to travel. I want to live, but I want to feel good in doing that.
Yeah, well, it's really about quality of life, and certainly we'd like to have more longevity, but it's really about putting more years in our life and more life in our years.
Exactly.
Now, you've got a pretty sizable family, and, of course, you wouldn't be promoting this to your loved ones if you weren't a firm believer through your own personal experiences in these products. Yeah. And it's one of the things that I do admire about you, Jim. This isn't about making money. This is about really making a difference. And what I've discovered, it's not the go-getters in life that are successful. It's the go-givers in life that really are the successful ones. And you truly are in that group, and that's why I certainly appreciate you. I'm going to get to see you probably this next week, too.
Yeah. I don't care how much money you have. Doesn't matter. You lose your health, the boat is starting to sink. It's just, you can, say, well, I'll just, buy this or I'll buy that and I'll be fine. You're not. It's a decreasing, chance of regaining that health. So keep it while you got it and invest in yourself. And in the Zenus products, I mean, I always try to relate it to, well, what do you spend on your coffee? Well, I got a double Frappuccino mocha with a twist or something, and it's $4.95.
Right. Wow. Yeah.
That $4.95, man, you spend half of that on yourself with some of your products, Doug, and, you've given yourself a chance. And here's, you guys coming from Vegas, what you wanted is put the odds in your favor, okay? Las Vegas was built on putting the odds in their favor. We, as human beings, have to do certain things, and your products, Doug, are as minimal in cost and preparation as anything I've ever seen. But they're the efficiency, and it's the pure...
The efficacy, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just going back to the basics. If somebody doesn't watch your video or listen to you speak and say, well, that's not for me, I'm not... And you come across those people. I mean, I come across them all the time. They think because I'm not wearing a white coat that I don't know anything. My doctor says, I talked to a gentleman the other day, nice guy, and Doug, you'll meet him on Thursday, and he was in a medical products invention, and he'd come up with something that was going to pre-test illnesses in you. Engineering guy, and I'm not an engineer by a million miles, but he came up with a stat. He said, when you're over 65, I think it was like 85% of the people that go to the hospital after age 65 go because they have too many drugs in their system. Drug A solves this problem, but drug B eliminates that, and it's just they go because they become a toxic mess.
I mean, that's something we talk about all the time, Jim. It's not just about, let's say, quality of life, but it's also being aware of what you're putting in your body because, we talk about medication here, and, just because it's a drug, it doesn't mean it doesn't come with side effects, and those side effects, as you point out, Doug, are not in harmony with our body's needs.
Well, it's the body's telling you that.
And with that, we're going to come back. We're going to talk a lot more about the body's intelligence and host resistance with our special guest, Jim Ferguson, and, of course, my famous sidekick, Mr. Doug Whitfield. You're listening to the Zenus Health Show, KXNT 840 News Talk Radio. If you want to join in, 702-733-5968. Get in on the host resistance hotline. Come right back.
Is Optimum D-Tox. It's unlike any detox formula you've ever used, and you'll feel the effects instantly. Our bodies are constantly picking up unhealthy toxins that slow us down, make us feel tired, and can cause disease. But just as we take in toxins on a daily basis, we need to help our bodies eliminate them daily too. Optimum D-Tox is the only whole food detox formula that gives your body exactly what it needs to become a supercharged toxin-fighting machine. It's so concentrated, just a few drops taken with water or your favorite drink starts eliminating toxins right away. The secret is in the powerful all-natural Mojave Yucca, proven to give your body what it's lacking to fight and eliminate toxins.
I take Optimum D-Tox every day, and I feel like I'm 20 again.
Detoxing every day is vital to health. I've never felt better.
Take the Optimum D-Tox Challenge and feel the difference instantly. You won't believe how great you'll feel, and we'll guarantee it.
Call now, not next week, not next month, 702-540-5668. Eliminate deadly toxins today.
Like us on Facebook. Love us on Twitter at KXNT. This is News Talk 840 AM. KXNT.
Hey, folks, welcome back. You're listening to the Zenus Health Show on KXNT News Talk Radio 840 Las Vegas. My name is Anthony, and joining me, of course, as always, is my great friend and personal Svengali of great wellness, Mr. Doug Whitfield. And on the line, via the Host Resistance Hotline, 702-733-5968, if you want to join in as well, is our great friend Jim Ferguson from Southern California. He has a great network out there in Southern California. And Jim, we have talked before about that network, and you have a very interesting collection of guys who have joined you in this mission to be well, who have used you as an example, and I know you've done some fabulous work around Optimum D-Tox. I think people have taken notice to the success you've experienced with these products.
That's right, Anthony. Thank you. A neighbor of mine who, a very visible guy, I won't mention his name right now, but ex-professional athlete, ex-star in the UCLA basketball days when they won 10, national championships in a row. And he's had a tough go with his health. I mean, he's had cancer. He's lost a child to cancer. Just in conversation, we've talked about health. I don't walk around telling, I've got the greatest thing since sliced bread. But, conversation came up. And
right.
He's all ears because people that are sick are looking for solutions. They don't like the drug avenue, and they understand where the drugs do play their role. But he was looking for a solution. So I said, look, watch this video, and you tell me what you think. Okay, I'll try it. You tell me what I need. I said, unless you want to commit to at least 90 days, let's not even go here, okay? But if you commit, then let's just analyze your results. And he said, this was, summer, 5 months, 6 months ago. And he said, I'm kind of coming up into my season, like, the cold or flu, all through the wintertime. My resistance is low, so, yeah, I'd like to see what this does. Well, here we are in, second week in January. I just saw him yesterday. And, hey, how you doing? He says, this is great. He says, you know what? I've weathered the storm. I've got friends all around me that are sick with the flu and colds, and I'm standing tall. And, he's a believer. Doug, he's one of the guys we're going to chat with, and he's very involved with losing a child to cancer, with, pediatric cancer and whatever. But he's someone that's opened his mind, who's tried everything, has the abundance to get anything out there. But also believes in the what Doug really preaches is that, your body is your healer, not the drugs, not the doctor. But if your body is in a good state, you have the ability and you have the chance to heal yourself. And that's how I've kind of always been. I mean, I don't rush to the doctor. Obviously, I'm going to go if I need to. But over my life is knock on wood, I've been relatively been in great health. I had a hernia operation when I was 23, and I can't remember going back into the hospital since. I was there on Wednesday night seeing my nephew's two little pretty, babies that were born, but that's about as close to the hospital as I like to get. But I have friends and family that are on it. I saw my brother-in-law at Thanksgiving, over Christmas, and I didn't even know it was actually my son's fiance, who was a big believer, had given him a bottle. He was sitting in the chair, and we're watching, a sporting event. He's got his arms up around his head, kind of in a relaxed. And he says, "Hey, look at me. Look at me." We're all going, "Well, what's up?" He says, "I haven't been able to raise my arms over my head in years." And he says, "The only thing I've done different is been taking my Optimum D-Tox." It's just like, I remember, I didn't even know he had taken it because my future, daughter-in-law was an advocate. So there's story after story. Now, I also get to the people that say, "Well, I don't feel any effects." And then I get back to "Well, are you taking it?" "Well, I took it last week."
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta take it. Yeah. Come on, people. We're talking about, this is a 20-second deal in the morning. Mm-hmm. I mean, I wake up, I just had my coffee. I take the coffee cup that I use, I rinse it out, I put my 8 drops, I hit the tap, for 2 seconds, I swirl it, it's down. That's not even 20 seconds. I am set for the day. Nighttime before I'm going to go to bed, same deal. So, once again, where are your priorities? Where do you want, it amazes me what people won't do, but they'll bitch about, "Oh, this hurts, that hurts." Well, there are solutions to every problem.
People ask me, "Well, can I take this or can we give it to?" I said, "Listen, what we've done is we've gone to the expense of putting the name of every single person on the label that can't take it. So if your name's not on the label, you're good to go. We also guarantee that if you don't take it, you certainly won't get a benefit from it." One of the things you said really strikes a chord, and that's that it's only the body has the capacity to heal. Drugs can't, by their very inherent nature, can only exasperate because they compromise the integrity of the healing organs in the body. Doctors can dress wounds, but they can't heal. And products, regardless of how beneficial they are, can't heal. They simply can supply the body with the tools the body needs in order for it to effectively go ahead and restore balance and eliminate the symptoms associated with these insidious degenerative and chronic conditions.
I want to get also to this other point here with you, Jim, and you're really good at this, and I got to commend you for it. And you find it very easy to articulate, and maybe this is part of the financial background that you have. Let's say you don't get the chronic disease, but you've been proactive with people in your family that even at a younger level than you would probably assume. And I'm starting to have this conversation with younger people, and they're very aware, I think much more aware than we were, about taking control of their health and picking the right supplements and the right assistance. And again, Optimum D-Tox speaks right to them because it's not a question about, hey, can I get the 5-hour energy drink? I want the energy all day. And you only get that once you remove the poisons and toxins from your system.
Yeah. I think detox gets a bad name. I don't know about Vegas, but Newport has, you go in these strip malls or whatever, detox center. Right. My family, prior to my Optimum D-Tox, commitment was, okay, guys, we're and I never did this because I knew I would never last through it. But I just paid $150 and I've got to go to this a little shop for the next 4 days and drink this, solution. And, I'm going to feel like heck for 4 days. I'm going to lose all this weight, but I've detoxed. So if you're looking at an expense and you're looking at misery and you're hoping for a result,
that's right.
I would think most of the people bail out on them somewhere down the line. People will ask me, well, what's it taste like? I go, you know what? I don't even taste it anymore. It's just, it's not something I'm going to sit around and drink outside and say, oh, what a refreshing drink. It's a nothing deal.
Right.
It's boom. It's done. When I set my coffee cup down, I said, you know what? I've done something good for Jim Ferguson today.
Right.
I haven't missed one day in 365 times 2 is what, 730 or whatever it is.
770, or 3730 or whatever it is.
Speaks to your level of dedication. And I say to people, Jim, when they taste it, and I go, well, what does it taste like? What is it? It kind of looks kind of weird because it's brown. And I go, well, have you ever drank red wine before in your life? And you get that little oak taste, that you like, and you get used to with the red wine? It's no different. It comes from nature. No different.
It's not an acquired taste. It's just it's a taste. It's not offensive. It's not. It doesn't linger. It doesn't. Gotta go brush my teeth. You just do it. You do it because you have a desire to maintain your health or better your health.
I've taken it for so many years and on a daily basis that I find it difficult to drink water without putting yuck in it, without putting the Optimum D-Tox in it, because the water tastes sterile to me now.
Somebody said, well, hey, you've had these great results. Why don't you go off it? I'm afraid to go off it. I don't want it. I'm cruising. I'm feeling good. And
that's a great point, because I've had that in the past. And what's real interesting is that it's food. It's simply food. So it's like somebody saying, well, why don't you quit eating then? If you're feeling good, why don't you quit eating? You feel satisfied after you have a meal. Say, well, you don't have to eat anymore then, because that's all it is. It's just food.
Jim, I want to thank you so much and commend you for joining us for a couple of segments today on the show. It's always a pleasure to check back in with you, get your view of the products, especially Optimum D-Tox. I really hope we can do it again. It's always, like I say, a pleasure to get to speak with you. You're such a gentleman.
I enjoy it. The message is, people, you can't afford $1 a day and commit. You're really not that concerned about your health. You want to talk about your aches and pains and this and that. Invest in yourself. You're worth it.
You are absolutely worth it. If you're only worth $1, folks, I think you're underpaying. Listen, this is the Zenus Health Show. We're going to take our last break, and when we come back, we want to open the lines and take your calls. That number again is 702-733-5968. That is the host resistance hotline. We're going to talk about those aches and pains. We're going to talk about Optimum D-Tox and what we learned today from our friend Jim Ferguson. Again, KXNT News Talk Radio 840. This is the Zenus Health Show.
Toxins create disease. They are everywhere. In our food. In the air we breathe. In our homes. At our places of work.
Heavy metals accumulate in our systems every day, causing numerous health problems that can seriously impact every major organ in our bodies.
They are stored in our organs, tissues, and bones.
We also know that metal toxicity is often derived from all kinds of environmental threats. But no matter the origin, studies now show that heavy metals in the body may be implicated to Alzheimer's, cardiovascular disease, behavioral problems, kidney dysfunction, epilepsy, and even paralysis.
Are you toxic? The answer is yes. We are all toxic.
And that's precisely where chelate comes in.
Start detoxing today.
The strongest whole food detoxifying agent for heavy metals. Call Zenus at 702-540-5668 and strike back at toxic heavy metals today.
Optimum D-Tox is simply nature's answer to a toxic world. It actively helps the body by eliminating toxins and accumulated waste while at the same time providing all the essential nutrients to maintain optimum wellness. Optimum D-Tox is one of only 2 Western-based whole food supplements that have ever been clinically tested and approved by the Federal Ministry of Health in China for degenerative and chronic conditions.
Call now 702-540-5668. Eliminate deadly toxins today.
If you're new to this station, welcome. Concept is really pretty simple.
How do you do it?
Listen.
First time listener.
Call.
First time calling, sir.
Talk.
Yeah, I'd like to talk about them.
Repeat.
So here we go again.
On News Talk 840 AM, KXNT.
Hey, folks, welcome back. You're listening to the Zenus Health Show here on News Talk Radio, KXNT 840, Las Vegas. My name is Anthony, joined here, of course, with the erstwhile Doug Whitfield. And I want to review something with you, Doug, from our call with Jim Ferguson. If folks, you want to get involved with this conversation and you got a quick point, 702-733-5968, get on the host resistance hotline. But back to the point I wanted to discuss with you with Jim Ferguson. He talked about those aches and pains, in the joints.
Right.
And that spoke to me because I had that same situation in my knee, in my hip, and in my left shoulder where I've had sustained pretty good athletic injuries. And this brought me back to the beginning part of how Optimum D-Tox really was born, and your company was born in the arena of tying poisons and toxins to arthritis.
Well, we were working in the agricultural community at the time. We were making soil conditioners to enhance the growth of cereal crops. We were working with the federal government in Canada, and we were also working with poultry producers and swine producers for breaking down solid waste and liquid manure operations. But it was my dad that had read an article written by Dr. Robert Bingham. He was recognized one of the foremost authorities on arthritis anywhere in the world. And he lived in Desert Hot Springs, and I had a major clinic in Orange County and Desert Hot Springs, California. But he he had worked with a number of botanists in using the Mojave yucca in a powder form for treating arthritis. And they did a double-blind study back in the late 70s, and the results were astounding because they were having over 70% success rate in helping patients with arthritis. And I understand what arthritis is. There's a lot of different members of that arthritic family, bursitis being one of them. There's rheumatoid arthritis and all different types. But what it is, it's inflammation of the joints. And the inflammation, which results in pain. And there's only two sources that can come from. Number one, it's compressed nerves, where structurally the body is compressing nerves. Or the second would be nerves that are exposed to poisons and toxins, create inflammation and pain. And so what they found is that the yucca has a source of natural anti-inflammatories. Matter of fact, there was a doctor that duplicated the test that Bingham did, Dr. Paul Isaacson out of Tucson, and reported over a 90% response. The interesting thing is that these are documented and recorded in the Journal of Applied Nutrition, a recognized medical journal, and the other benefits, the side benefits associated anytime you had excessive cholesterol in the system or triglycerides or blood pressure, it brought these back down to more normal rate. They never went into the studies why it did that. These are studies that we later researched to find out why it was doing that. But all they found is that it was making such a difference in arthritis problems. We started working with pets, animals, and found out that dogs and cats were responding. Dogs, older dogs that have this hip dysplasia and different arthritic situations, we could take 5 years off their life literally overnight. And the interesting thing is that there's no placebo effect associated with animals. They either react or they respond, almost without exception. It's a just amazing thing to watch.
Folks, I also want to bring attention to you the fact that doctors are recommending, even today, beyond Dr. Bingham, your products. And one of the big ones they recommend, obviously, is Optimum D-Tox. I want you to go to YouTube, pick out this one piece of video where doctors are recommending Optimum D-Tox and describing the levels of benefits that their patients are getting on the product. The video is called What Doctors Are Saying About Optimum D-Tox. If you haven't, after the 8 minutes, had your mind changed or altered about what your opinions can be about a single detox, nothing else will. In fact, you'll also find it on the website where we have a special offer for you about Optimum Detox for $5. $5 that covers the shipping and handling. You get the product the first month free. You can find that at thezenusstore.com/offer. Just sign up right there. After that, we'll put you on a monthly supply and charge you at the normal rate. If you don't find it's working, you can cancel by calling the office. Doug, this speaks to a very important offer, and we want people to act now. This is going to give them that 2 to 3 weeks to get them jump-started.
Well, it's a limited time offer only. And we've never done this in the history of our company. In 30 years, have we ever offered anything like this? So it's a limited time offer. The product is absolutely free. We're going to give you a 30-day supply and just pay the shipping and handling. It's $5 for the shipping and the handling. The product is free. You can evaluate it on its merits, and you can choose to go on a steady regimen because it's food. You're buying groceries. All of our products are simply whole food products or whole food nutritional concentrated supplements. It gives you the things that we're not now getting in our typical groceries.
Go to the website, thezenusstore.com/offer. Or if you can't remember that, give us a call and we'll give you directions on how to complete this. 702-540-5668. Call us on Monday, call us on Tuesday, and you need to get started on this very special offer. The reason why we reach to people like Jim Ferguson and others, along with the doctors on the show, is to show you the efficacy of this product. And this has been the Zenus Health Show, brought to you by the fine people of Zenus Global Health, where the consultation is always free. That's what we say, right, Doug?
That's a fact.
And we're backed by Nature's Pharmacy. You can follow us on Facebook at Zenus HQ. You can check us out on Twitter at Zenus Global. And thank you to all the new followers that we've picked up in the last week. We've picked up a lot. Get all the updates and more there. And remember, the greatest gift you can give to your friends, your loved ones, your colleagues is the gift of wellness. Share the message, share the warmth. Folks, be well. Talk to you next week. Please be advised that statements made during this show have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. The information provided herein is for educational purposes only and is not intended to diagnose nor treat any illness, nor does it suggest or imply a cure for any disease or chronic condition. In fact, you should always consult a physician and or healthcare professional before starting this or any nutritional program to determine if it is right for your needs.